Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel for day 1047 of our daily content grind, and it's been a bit, so we're going to go back to the Earthspark episode reviews. I know they're not everybody's taste, but I like this show, I want people to give it a chance, and I want to discuss it. That said, we're hitting two odd episodes. There's weird stuff going on in here, telling decent stories, but they're definitely playing with some tropes from here on out, which is not the MO for this show, but we're going to go with it. So, we are going to be looking at episode 5 and 6 of Season 2, and that is going to begin with the episode Togetherness. And this episode is kind of dealing with the fallout of the previous episode. Remember, episode 4 ends with Robbie, Mo, Twitch, and Thrash all kind of merging together into some flying jet bike. So now they're trying to recreate that and actually figure out how they did it. And to their credit, they do. They can barely control it, but they can manage to pull it off again. And there's a B plot in the episode where they're kind of exploring exactly what is going on and why it is occurring. So we get little clips going back to the home base throughout the episode, just with them experimenting, being able to fuse once more, and what it actually takes. So, essentially, you are looking at synergy of mind, you're looking at strong emotional bond, and Emberstone energy. When all those three combine in the right way, then you get a fusion of whoever is involved. And apparently, not only is this really effective and powerful, it also consumes a lot more energy. It's a feeding frenzy once you are done. But this is just us kind of learning about like how the mechanics work, what the limitations are, etc., that kind of thing. And all that really sets up what's happening in the A plot. There, after they get done trying to test out the form on the field outside of the home, Jawbreaker's left behind because land-based beast mode. It's a little hard for him to get home with everybody else. So he has to hoof it. And guess who he runs into? None other than Aftermath, our Chaos Terran. He is snooping through some old barrels, and we will come back to that here in a minute. This episode is very much about, like, the odd couple pairing. So, Jawbreaker, he's been alive for about a year now, but he is still young and naive-minded. So, he's trying to give Aftermath some kind of chance here. Like, he's trying to be friendly, he's trying to get along with them, he's trying to show him, like, hey, you're a Terran, and that does mean your family, you know? Going with that one. You know, that old trope. Unfortunately, Aftermath is kind of a jerk. He's kind of a punk character, so he's not about this. He does not consider Jawbreaker family, but he is stuck with him because Jawbreaker knows, like, the whole reason Aftermath is searching through barrels is he's hungry. He's low on energy. Jawbreaker's a nice guy. He's going to show him to the cave with the water in it. You already feel like where this is going, okay? And if you are not wrong, if you haven't seen the episode and you already know, and you're just following it through these videos, you're probably hitting like a warning sign in your head. That's not an incorrect warning sign. Jawbreaker is very much naive because he wants to be nice. He lets that get a little bit too nice sometimes. He's nice enough to Aftermath that in the midst of this episode, this happens. The two accidentally merge, and this is bizarre because what we have just learned about how merging works with the Terrans, this doesn't apply. Like, Aftermath has no emotional attachment to Jawbreaker whatsoever. They certainly have no, like, mental synergy of any kind. This is just like a really weird happenstance. This is an accidental glitch of the Chaos shard that's currently residing inside Aftermath. But yeah, we're left with this weird amalgamation. And oh no, the two that don't quite get along have to get along. Remember when I said these episodes kind of involve some tropes? Well, here we go. We have the odd couple forced to work together. And it's, okay, Jawbreaker's still a nice guy. He's all down for this. He's just thrilled with the fact that he can merge. He's thrilled with the fact that he can fuse with another Terran. Aftermath hates this. With a passion, he hates this. That said, on the way to the cave, he still wants to have fun. And now he's being a bad influence to Jawbreaker. They're pulling pranks. Jawbreaker's kind of like relishing a little bit and being a delinquent for once. And you have a weird synergy that is starting to form. There's a weird kindredship going on at some point. Jawbreaker comes up with the name Jabam. Jawbreaker, Aftermath, Jbam, Jabam. And it's weirdly inconsistent with how Aftermath is kind of portrayed here. Like, he hates it at first. Once we get into the montage of them just causing chaos, through the woods, he's kind of down for it. He's using the term himself. And then when we get away from the montage, he's back to hating it. It's weird. It's very back and forth. It feels like it's not sure if they want to be like all about this or not. It's weird. It's weird. And I'm not sure it's the best delivered. It's fun to watch. Don't get me wrong. The hijinks are fun. It's just a little bit inconsistent with how they're portrayed and the reaction to it. So, as they are going through the woods, of course, this is not the only thing that's happening. Do you remember those barrels we mentioned? Turns out it's the tainted energon. You know, the stuff that made the goo bear from the first season. Now it's spilled. It's spilled onto some mushrooms, as a matter of fact. And now we have these things. It's weird. Like, at first they start off, we see their growth through the entire episode. It starts off as just like a mushroom with an eyeball. And it's weirdly cute at first, and then it starts eating things, and it gets horrifying. And then lots of them start showing up. So now, the two that can't work together well enough to operate their new merged body now have to deal with this horde of mushroom alien mutant things. It goes as well as you would expect. And the whole thing here is that Aftermath doesn't really trust anybody. Which is why this fusion that they've got going on is not really working out. Jawbreaker wants to transform in order to try and deal with these things. Aftermath just refuses to allow it to happen until they're out of ideas and until his life really is in danger. Which leads to Jawbreaker taking over and getting this that I'm never going to get a toy of, Hasbro. Why would you show me something like this and then, like, basically, like, be honest with me when you say, we're not making a toy of this. There's no way you're making a toy of this. It does what you expect it to do. Like, it's actually kind of a cool mix. Like, his blade, like, Jawbreaker's blade tail gets mixed in with Aftermath's tow cable. So that gets used pretty effectively as, like, a big, like, cable slashing weapon. It's a cool scene. It's a cool scene. And after this, once Aftermath, like, actually knows that he can trust Jawbreaker, then they're able to actually split. Like, that's the point where they figure it out and they can actually get apart from each other. And at this point, like, by the time they get to the cave, Aftermath seems, like, completely chill. Like, he actually has this, like, mini revelation of, like, I really can trust you, Jawbreaker. You know, and it feels like you're building up to this character growth, you know, and, like, maybe all this Terran needed was to know that someone actually did care about him, and that it wasn't just, you know, the cruelty of the Decepticons barely treating him like he existed, or, you know, just being, you know, thought of as, you know, like an outcast. No. Maybe all he needed was just someone to accept him. Or maybe he's just a jerk. The end scene of this is Aftermath driving off with a tanker full of the cave water, which leaves the Terrans without their go-to source of the stuff. That's not a great situation to be in. the whole episode kind of is just there to show you that, yeah, he's not just misguided. He's not just like lacking the right support. No, Aftermath is a bad person. That's basically the episode here. That someone can actually give him everything he needs and actually be genuinely helpful and kind to him, and he will return it with cruelty. Because that's who Aftermath is. It's a hard lesson for Jawbreaker. It's kind of like a warning lesson for kids, you know, don't trust outward appearances. But overall, just kind of like, you know, it's a rough pill to swallow. You know, after seeing the two get along, you kind of are pulling for Aftermath to kind of turn a leaf, and then this happens. A little rough to swallow. We have more hijinks though. We have more hijinks in the next episode. Episode 6 is Spitfire. And this one only really has one plot going on, so we don't have to bounce back and forth or cover one before we cover the others. We can just kind of go sequentially for this episode. Starts off with Twitch and familiar territory for the season. It's shard hunting. Soundwave finds the shard at the same time. There's an aerial battle. There is a creation of a Terran in midair. And I assume because it is far away from the ground and for anything around it that could influence it other than the also flying Twitch, it turns into a duplicate of her. This is Spitfire. Spitfire, who is voiced by Zelda Williams, the daughter of Robin Williams, which is fascinating casting. The voice is a little deeper than I would expect, but I think that's the point, to create as much of a distinction between the two as possible. And you know what? It's a voice that takes a little bit of getting used to for such a small character, but I go with it. I go with it. And she does turn in a good performance. It's weird to me, because Aftermath is voiced by Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. We had Weird Al Yankovic as Cosmos. Now we have Zelda Williams. They spent some money on casting for this season, which is weird considering Spitfire very much screams of, we want another Chaos Terran, but we really don't want to spend the money to make one. So instead, repaints, we have repaints that we can go to. That's always the fun one. There is a lot of, and we kind of see the same thing going on. Twitch is trying her best, but Spitfire, like Aftermath, just has a really bad attitude about her and a superiority complex. She scans a drone from Wheeljack, but it's an advanced model, so she's capable of more things than the original Twitch is, which gives her that air of superiority and ego about her, which makes them start butting heads. What really sets off a competition and a rivalry between the two is that there is a mission that they want Twitch for, like a genuine Autobot mission, which is kind of a big deal, because the Terrans were, to this point, still kind of treated as this separate entity that's still growing up and learning. So the fact that she's getting an official mission is a huge deal. I'm getting my Chaos Terrans mixed up now. Spitfire thinks it should go to her, so we settle it the only way that we can in a kid's cartoon. We have an obstacle course challenge, and everyone gets to run it. Everyone in the Malto family gets to run this challenge, even though obviously it's just Twitch and Spitfire who are at the lead the whole time, and it's really just about them. And you know what? It's fun for just like a nonsense episode, or a nonsense segment to the episode. It's all fun and games. Like, the Autobots are actually serving as obstacles. Grimlock's breathing fire over the crawling net and all that. And the obstacles take out the Terrans one by one as it just plays to their disadvantages in particular ways. That said, through all of it, the one Malto, even the kids lose out here. The one Malto that's actually able to keep up with Twitch and Spitfire is Alex. Ever resourceful. Which is kind of a hysterical thing, because he goes from constantly struggling and bumbling to it to utter confidence over what he's accomplished. But it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun because he's genuinely in a position to win this. this is where we start seeing, okay, so last episode was about showing Aftermath's true colors despite everything. Spitfire's true colors come out when Twitch is about to win the race. So Spitfire decides she's going to sabotage one of the obstacles and drop Alex off a cliff. Twitch stops, goes back for Dad, lets Spitfire get ahead and win the race, but Twitch does save the day. In the most dramatic shot I think I've ever seen in a Transformers cartoon ever. I don't know why they went this hard with the rescue scene, but they did. Like, if it wasn't enough of proof that, like, okay, Twitch is the White Knight here, we're going to do this imagery. So Spitfire wins the race, but loses out the Autobot mission. Because, well, yeah, she's kind of a jerk. She cheated. She didn't care that, you know, Alex was falling to his death. That's not very Autobot. And that starts a big fight. And to be fair, they're both dual-wielding swords and they're both flying around. This is a really cool fight. This is actually a really cool fight. It's set in a thunderstorm. You got lightning going on. It's a really, really cool fight. You know, good versus evil here. At some point, Spitfire shows off a different ability than Twitch has, which is the ability to link up with another system. You actually see Spitfire puppeteering Twitch and mimicking, you know, like, and Twitch, forcing Twitch to mimic her body expressions. You know, and at one time, it looks like she's literally trying to get access to her brain, which is when plot convenience lightning strikes. This pretty much ends the fight. Spitfire goes flying, Twitch goes falling down, and eventually falls back down to the obstacle course where family greets her. You know, and okay, Spitfire's no good. We got to keep her away from the family. But there's a weird look in Twitch's eye. Something's not right here. And we're left on that cliffhanger of, we don't know exactly what happened between, like, the mental link, like the digital link that Spitfire had formed, and the lightning bolt. And we're just kind of left to wonder. Small spoiler alert, it's going to lead to a trope in the next episode that might be one of my most hated in animation. We'll get to that next time, but suffice to say, those are our two episodes, and if I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I do think these two relied a little bit too much on the more tired tropes, the odd couple forced to get along, or you know, the evil duplicate, or, you know, especially with the superiority complex too. I've seen that done as well. Aftermath and Spitfire, they're both decent characters, you know. They are that flip side of what a Terran can be, and that answers the question from Season 1. What if a Terran decides to be a Decepticon? You know, what if one of them decides not to be part of the family? That's what we've got here. It's weird that one just ended up being a repaint of Twitch, but I guess if you're going to copy anyone from the Terrans, it's going to be the would-be leader of the entire group, so, alright, fair enough there. That said, there's moments to enjoy it about this, like when Jabam is on a roll. They're fun to watch. And yeah, Spitfire is just a cruel villain who makes for a fantastic battle scene with Twitch. Beyond that, though, I don't think these are the strongest episodes the series has had. You know, and I really do like the series. I really want to give it every chance I can. But sometimes the writing is just like a little bit too weak, and these are two of the weaker episodes, I'm afraid. So that's the thoughts on Togetherness and Spitfire. All this stuff leads up to the future episodes, so, you know, it's not like a total waste or anything. Some of it does kind of feel filler, but we're establishing things. That's what the episodes are meant for. So, those are my thoughts. That is the episode review. And of course, I'll be back with, we got 2 more of these at some point in the coming weeks. So, if you're sticking by for those, please look forward to that. And as always, I will see you next time.